Meowthany, Meow Tano here, the internet, and it's time for a review of Meow the Jewels' Meow the Jewels, or the Run the Jewels remix album, Meow the Jewels. This is the highly anticipated follow-up remix album to the second Run the Jewels album, RTJ2, a fantastic hip-hop duo consisting of Killer Mike and LP. If you haven't heard of them, go check out my review of their last full-length album. I actually don't really think you should go into this new album over here unless you've heard that album. So again, if you have not heard that record, if you don't know who Run the Jewels is, please go back. There's a link in the description box to that review. And shortly after the release and the really amazing success of this album, it had been announced by Run the Jewels that there would be a remix album consisting almost entirely of cat sounds, which just in concept, everybody was super excited for, just the ridiculousness of that concept. Something that I thought would be funny, maybe ridiculous to the point where I wouldn't want to hear it all the way through because it would become grating and annoying and maybe unlistenable. And I thought that was actually what was going to happen on this album once I saw that there were a bunch of guest remixers on this record, that I guess kind of the talent of this album was going to be spread thin across a lot of different producers brought onto the record to pull together these beats. But there were some pretty impressive producer credits going into this thing. We have Jeff Barrow of Portishead appearing on here, Zola Jesus, Just Blaze, of course LP himself, Prince Paul, The Alchemist, and more, and more, and many more. However, this project ended up sounding pretty interesting, pretty awesome. I think this project is a testament to technology and talent. I am very happy that we live in an age where this sort of thing happens. Pretty much every instrumental here that resembles the original track of this album recreates with incredible just accuracy, again, what's going on musically, the key musical, the key melodic aspects of these beats are recreated using these cat sounds, and it's just so weird. And you would think it would be so annoying and so obnoxious, but often it is listenable and kind of enjoyable. That is, if you're into kind of glitchy, strange, alternative electronic and hip-hop music. Is the percussion on this record cat-derived? I'm not entirely sure, but the moments where that pops up, it sounds pretty nice as well, although I will say that a lot of the beats here are very light, very skeletal when it comes to the percussion. A lot of the songs off of RTJ2 that originally were bangers, percussion-wise, are kind of light this time around, especially on the Just Blaze song, which was kind of unexpected. I expected his track to go a little bit harder, but still, the percussion is kind of light, and I think that might be to the effect of, I guess, enhancing the lyrics and the fact that we're hearing almost nothing but cat sounds. And there are some other instrumentals here that take a totally different approach than what the original instrumental was going for, and some of these beats actually end up being my favorites on the record. Like on the Blood Diamonds remix with the track Paw Do Respect, I love the sunny, kind of woozy synth chords that dance throughout much of this track. And on Zola Jesus' remix, the very psychedelic, heavy wall of purrs. It's like a swarm of cat sounds surrounding my ears. It's overwhelming, it's beautiful, and it's dark, and it's haunting at the same time. 3D of Massive Attack, his remix on the end of this project, is kind of industrial-ish. I could praise a lot more aspects of these beats, but it won't change the fact that in a way, this is a novelty project, which inherently is going to make the shelf life of this thing very short. So while, yeah, this is a novelty project, it's also an incredibly creative remix album, something that I think is really hard to kind of come across. I mean, remix albums for me, while I do like to listen to them if I'm really hardcore into the act that is being remixed, a lot of the time they end up being a bit of a wasteland and just kind of feeling like an uncohesive compilation where some tracks just pale far more in comparison to others. I mean, often there's only maybe a handful of remixes I end up liking. I think Meow the Jewels takes that sort of tired concept and makes it exciting again with a really weird stipulation. A stipulation that gives this record a really big shtick, a really big gimmick, but I feel like each remix here took that as a challenge. Like, okay, this is going to be a gimmick, so that means in order for people to actually think this is good, it's got to be really good. Technically, it has to be super sound. It can't sound like a joke song, even though it's just nothing but cat sounds. And that's the thing. For something with such a silly idea behind it, not a single track here sounds like a joke song, which I think is an incredible feat. Even if I don't love every single track on here, I think this is an incredibly impressive remix album and should definitely be tried out by anybody who enjoys Run the Jewels, enjoys Killer Mike's music, enjoys LP's music. I'm just going to leave it simply at that. It was fun. It was a fun listen. I'm glad it happened. And I hope more artists in the future, maybe not in as much a gimmicky way, take the opportunity to sort of guide the artistry of their remix albums a little bit more in the future and provide an interesting, a creative, a strange stipulation to sort of bring all the tracks together and maybe just make remix albums a little more exciting again. Yeah. Download it. Tran. Hey, have you given this remix album a listen? If you have, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. Anthony Fantano, Meow the Jewels, forever.